Is it recording already?
Yeah, it's already recording.
Hi, I'm Ella.
Okay.
Yeah, we are here in Rumah Tangga right now in Depok, West Java. Our home and idea space that we've been building since 2017.
So maybe the first question will be, why is this space named Rumah Tangga? And what is this space exactly?
Yeah, the space is essentially we refer to it as a museum of living because it's an idea space, it's a gallery, it's a residency.
It's a home.
Yeah, but it's also a home, and so more than just making works of art, we call it a museum of living because we want it to be a place that's about living creatively in general, like turning daily life into a creative experience.
Yeah, and it was named Rumah Tangga because the building started with my drawing, and it was responded by the Jakarta architect Eki Yusha, and I have a lot of stairs and ladders symbols in my drawings for this house. So that's how it happened first, and then we also just got married, and we're trying to build a family and a household, and it coincided with my idea of stairs and ladders and household, so we named this place Rumah Tangga because of that.
How important is everyday nuances in maybe Ella's practices or both of your practices?
I don't see art separated from my daily activities. I think like me and Kurt always talk about how we live, like how he explained like how we live creatively instead of having a creative process and a life separated from our creative process. So we see us mopping, cleaning, washing the dishes, putting stuff in the house as building an installation, like making art, like we're doing it creatively. So I think our daily life, our daily activities here, we're doing it as if we're doing art. Yeah.
And for Kurt, what's your practices?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's a part of it for me. Like, I want my daily life to feel like a creative practice. It doesn't mean that every day when I wake up and I do the dishes, it feels like that, or I feel inspired, yeah. But it just means like trying to pay attention while doing daily tasks. I try to pay attention in the same way that I would when I'm making art or performing. It's about trying to be in a certain mindset. So it doesn't mean that, it's always exciting. It doesn't mean that we stack the dishes in an artistic way. It just means that we bring a certain mindset to it that we hope adds to our life instead of making life feel like a chore.
It's a question about intentionality, is it?
Yeah, about intentionality, very much. It's the same regular activity, but shifting the intention and the mindset.
I want to know like what public programs that you guys have here in Rumah Tangga pre-COVID, and what could be sustained after this big change of pace affect us all.
We have weekend residencies where artists come every weekend for 3 to 6 months, exploring the land and making work based on the land and communicating with the land, like a site-specific projects, and also we have activation.
In addition to the residency, we have a monthly performance art workshop called Activations. And so the space in front of us here is, we call it the Snake Pit Performance Area. It's named that because before the house was built, it was like a marshy area, and apparently there's a part of the year when all of the snakes would breed in that area. So once a month we have this activation series. We'll have a different performance artist come and lead a workshop, and then after the workshop, usually it's just like free form. So it might be like creative games or storytelling or body movement, just anything to activate ourselves and the space and to give it life.
Yeah, and the last thing right before COVID, we have the Bridge librarians. The librarians is to invite people here to read books and spend some time here with the land and just have their quiet time. It's every other Sunday, like 2 times a month, with 3 librarians, Ibam Sutomo, and Alexandra, and Rachel Suryata. So that was our last pre-COVID events that we have here.
So upstairs we have the Bridge, so it became the Bridge Library, because that's where all of our shelves are, but also just this idea of bridging, whether it's parts of the mind or bridging culture through reading and ideas. So it became a fitting name.
And also during this COVID, Kurt has this program called Maker Advisors Program. Maybe you want to explain?
It's called MAP, the Makers Advisor Program. So basically I'm working one-on-one with students, usually younger artists, helping them develop more than like the technical aspects of their work. I'm helping people develop to join the technical and the conceptual together. So some students meet here in person, and some I meet online through Zoom. And so we're either developing a project with them, or they're making works free form. And so we look at their works, we talk about their ideas, and really it's about helping them develop like a steady studio practice, and to understand sort of their process, their rhythm, their intention, their goals, all of these things. And building a portfolio, finding opportunities.
I think studio practice was like a good keyword there, like to have a running practice.
Yes. It really takes, it takes practice. It's different from just sitting down with your sketchbook or something. And so I've really been trying to understand from a scientific point of view, how the brain works, how we learn, and then also joining that to artistic practices and investigating different kinds of studio practices, so I can help people find what their particular rhythm is to work better and consistently.
About space, how does this space transform from a living quarters into becoming a personal studio, and now it becomes sort of a hub, or like what you say, a museum of living? How is it? Has it always intended to be that, or is it a process of development?
Actually, it's not transforming, but we like to ask question about what is private public space, so it all goes together because this is where we live too. So we're, instead of like wanting to transition from private to public space, we're trying to make balance between private and public, and that's what we're trying to do here. That's why it's a museum of living. So like even if there's no events here, it could be a museum for us, but also if people come here, they can feel like they're home. So
Switching those
yes,
roles.
yes, switching like how to make both go together instead of like transitioning now. At first we are private and then public and then more public. It's not like that. I think we want to have it all together and make it dynamic. Yeah.
Definitely, though, it's been an experiment. Like when we first had started having events here and increasingly having more people, I mean, it challenged our introvert nature. And but we like to make sure that people come here and we just say, yeah, make coffee. People bring food, we share food. We almost always cook together. So in that sense, like Ella said, when it's public, we want it to still feel like a home. And people have really responded to that quite well. And I think we did always know that we wanted it to be this blended private-public space. But what that means for us has been a constant experiment. Like every event, whether big or small, we learn something about how to navigate the line between the two worlds, how to blend them and not get lost. Yeah.
Okay, I think thank you so much for bringing us here and like introducing us to the space. I think it has been a beautiful time to like see the archival process of your everyday living and like again how it is stitched together between like the publicness of it and like the privateness of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.